Hello, and welcome to this week's Book Bites video. My name is Kinsey Heisel, and I work at the Boyle County Public Library. This week, as it gets closer and closer to Halloween and spooky times in October, I'm going to be showing you a whole bunch of spooky, scary, horror books, all perfect to read for this time of year. I'll show you, like I did last week, a bunch of books in one video, and then they will be on display for you to come and check out at the library, or you can request them using our curbside service, and a librarian will get them ready for you to come and pick up. Alright, let's get started. The first group of scary horror stories that I'm going to be sharing with you come from our non-fiction section. So these books are based on some realities. So we have Tiptoe into Scary Places, this series. This one happens to be ghost houses, but there are a lot in this series that show you all sorts of real, suspected to be haunted places. So this series also has cemeteries, castles, prisons, towns, amusement parks, hotels, and even some spooky libraries. Next, we have The Biggest, Baddest Book of Ghosts, The World's Most Haunted Places, The World's Most Famous Ghosts, and a real-life ghost story. This one is The Bell Witch. Next, I want to tell you about some books that contain a lot of short stories. They're called Anthologies, and these books will have a lot of different shorter scary stories all in one book, so you get more for the price of checking out one book. So we have Beanstalker and Other Hilarious Scary Tales. So this one is some humorous but scary stories. We have Half-Minute Horrors. 3 Terrifying Tales from the Midnight Library. This one is Voices. There's others in this series that are other different things as well. And then we have Scream and Scream Again, which includes over 20 stories from a lot of famous like scary or horror authors. And this one is compiled by R.L. Stine, who wrote the Goosebumps series, which I won't be talking about in this video other than to mention the author, because I'm sure you all are familiar with Goosebumps. But definitely check out that series and check out this book for more authors to read as well. Next, I will be talking about some very popular books that all contain ghosts. So ghosts are one of the spookiest and most popular things to read about when you think about scary stories or horror, and all of these books I will show you right now have ghosts in them. So there's A Properly Unhaunted Place, The Graveyard Book, Thornhill, and this one contains a lot of illustrations as well as text. So it looks really long, but it has a lot of illustrations in it as well, which in my opinion just adds to the spookiness. Spirit Hunters, The Girl in the Locked Room. Look at that spooky, spooky cover. This author writes a lot of scary stories, so if you like this one, then definitely pick up her other books. She has at least a dozen other scary stories, and most of them have ghosts. Next we have Ghost Squad, which is a newer book that I've mentioned in a previous video as a similar title, but this book is just too good. I couldn't leave it out when we were talking about ghost books. And finally, City of Ghosts. Next, I'll be talking about some spooky stories that all have monsters in them or some sort of like paranormal being. This first one could really have gone in the ghost category or this category because it has ghost dogs, which is a little bit different. So this is The Haunting of Hounds Hollow. Next we have Monsterland. This one has a vampire in it. Next, Nightmares. This is the first in a series, and the monster in this one are nightmares. Then we have The Last Gargoyle. And finally, The League of Beastly Dreadfuls, which is also the first in a series. Next, as you can probably tell from how many books I have in my lap here, is another really popular setting that you'll see in spooky stories. These all have spooky, haunted, scary, mysterious places as like the main spooky horror thing in their story. So first, we have Night Books. This is about a boy who gets kidnapped and lured into a witch's apartment, kind of like Hansel and Gretel, but a little bit more modern. And the main character in this book, he also writes scary stories. So every so often throughout the book, you'll get a short story that the character wrote, and they're pretty scary. Then we have Room of Shadows. This is about a haunted house. Next, The Owls Have Come to Take Us Away, about a boy who thinks that he gets abducted to a spooky, scary place. The Peculiar Incident of Shandy Street. Next, The Peculiar Incident on Shady Street. So this is again a haunted house. Next, Seraphina and the Black Cloak. This is set at the Biltmore Estate, and there's a lot of like spooky magic that goes on in this one. So this book is part historical fiction, part spooky, part fantasy. It has a lot of different genres, but it's really good. Next, we have Gloom Town. Then we have Small Spaces, The Dark Deep, and we have Wildwood, which, as you can probably tell from the title, is about a spooky, scary woods. Next, we have just a few books that are about friends who are solving spooky mysteries. So first, we have The Misfits Club, Curse of the Boggin. The first book is The Library. And Babysitting Nightmares, and there's 2 books in this series out right now that you can check out. The last group of books that I'll show you today are all still like that scary, spooky theme, but they didn't quite fit into any category, but I still wanted to let you all know about them. The first one is the Disney Chills book, Part of Your Nightmare. This is the first in a new series from Disney about the Disney villains, and this one is about the sea witch Ursula from The Little Mermaid. Next, we have Coraline, Doll Bones, which, as you can tell, is about a haunted doll. The House in the Poplar Wood, The Apprentice Witch, and finally, The Night Gardener. Thanks for watching this week's video. All of the 30 or more books that I talked about in this week's video you can now find on this display here in the library. You can come and check these out next time you visit the library, or you can request them using our curbside pickup service, and a librarian will prepare them for you to come and pick up. Next week, we will be taking a break from the Book Bites video because we will have our Tween Lib Crates discussion. Our Tween Lib Crate this month is also a spooky theme. We'll be reading Charlie Hernandez and the League of Shadows. The Lib Crate includes the free book, which you can keep, as well as prize, snack, craft, and some discussion questions. So next week is the video where we'll be going over everything in the Lib Crate and the discussion questions. There are still a few left if you want to come and pick them up and read the book with us before next week. Also next week, we will have our Scary Stories to Hear in the Dark videos. We have some library staff, some school librarians, and teachers from around the community who will be reading scary stories to you every night next week, Monday through Friday. The younger readers who might need a little less scary but still Halloween themed books, those videos will premiere at 4. And And then for the older readers, we will have videos at 6. Thank you for watching. As always, if you have other books that you would like me to talk about in future Book Bites videos, please email me or stop by the library and let me know. Thanks for watching this week's Book Bites video. Bye!